My name is Brian Pillman Jr. and you're watching Dre 41 Gaming. Now I'm a little partial to this gaming channel because 41 is my magic number. It was my number in football and it was my father's football number. So you can bet that Brian Pillman Jr. is going to be tuning in to Dre 41 Gaming only on YouTube.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Drake 41, aka Mr. 4K, aka Drake 41, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk podcast. And I want to reintroduce my co-host, Sean Styles. What's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? How are you doing today?
Oh, man, you know what? It's a hot day, man, in the Northeast.
Yep, I put my AC in the windows last night because I was not trying to mess with this today and tomorrow.
Yo, I can't do it.
I don't do well with humidity. I could deal with some like warm, dry air, but humid, forget about it. I'm not about that.
I'm not a fan of none of this, man. I like it when it's nice and cool.
Yeah.
Nice little breeze. I could deal with that all day. You sit there and you give me this heat and the humidity, I can't mess with it.
It makes me lethargic, man. I mean, I'm only 37, but that makes me want to take a nap. I just don't want to leave the house. I'm like, forget that noise. Plus, my asthma kicks my butt in this type of stuff. I got asthma, so.
Oh, goodness. Oh, that's real. So, you watch any wrestling this week?
I watched 2 of the icons on the network. Haven't watched any live wrestling. I did watch the RVD icons, which I enjoyed, and getting to take a look into his career and to see how he kind of conducted himself brought my level for respect for him up even higher than it already was. It was really good. And then I also watched the Beth Phoenix one, which that one, dude, I don't know why, but that one, having been a wrestler myself and never really made it to WWE, that one almost kind of hit an emotional chord with me. And I really enjoyed that one too, just because her struggle was real. And she really almost didn't make it, but she ended up blazing a trail and opening doors for a lot of the younger girls today. And I don't think she even realized the impact she had on the industry until after her career was over. And I think, looking back on it now, she can look back on it fondly, and that's pretty dope.
That's what's up. Do you also watch the what is it called? Dark Side of the Ring? I'm bugging.
I haven't watched many more of those. I watched like the first 3 of them, but I haven't watched. I'm not caught up. Definitely not caught up.
Yo, you gotta watch the Nick Gage one, and what other one is there? The Brian Pillman one. No, not only just that one. The one where they went to North Korea.
Oh, okay.
You gotta
that
see.
Sounds scary.
Yo, you gotta watch those episodes, man. It's like you can find them on YouTube. To be honest, I did.
Yeah, that's where I was watching them. Anyways, was on their YouTube. It's on was it on Vice or something like that?
Yeah, I think you can go on their website and watch it for free. But
yeah. Well, yeah, I've watched all the episodes that I've watched have been just streamed on YouTube for free.
Honestly, I don't even understand why most places even do that. Like, go on our website to watch. Dog, just post it on YouTube and call it a day. Like, and put like the extras or something maybe on your website or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hello?
It's John Cena.
We can't
see him.
To audio. Oh. Are we on? Hello?
Oh, here he is.
Hey, what's going on, man? We can't hear you.
What the fuck?
There you go.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What up, man?
How's it going?
It'll be going really good if I find my weed.
Yeah.
I hear that. Nice morning over there.
How you guys doing, man?
Oh man, doing good, man. We were just sitting here chilling, talking about some movies and stuff. You into those?
Yeah, of course. Is this live? Did I just fuck everything up?
No, no, no.
Uh,
We're just recording. Just recording.
Okay, because I don't really care, but I care about you guys. So
Yeah, thank you.
You're good.
thank you for having me.
Oh,
listen,
thanks for coming
I
on.
appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Time to go.
Cheers.
All right. What up?
Hey man, just chilling, man. We was talking about movies like the Mortal Kombat movie. Did you see that?
No, I didn't, but I lived it. It's based on my marriage.
Oh man.
Oh,
Well, hopefully
man.
there was no fatalities there.
Just one. So, all right, man. You guys, I got no, obviously, I'm sarcastic. I have a sense of humor. I got no limits. Go ahead. Ask anything you want, man. Let's do it.
All right, so here's one of the biggest questions that I wanted to ask you, and here's the thing. Like a lot of, and I even heard you say it a couple of times, but as a fan looking from the outside in, you're running WCW, especially when you were in a feud with Sting, and you were also with the Misfits. You was also with the New Bloods. I think that really elevated your status in wrestling to the fans. First off, how did you feel about your feud with Sting? Did you like it? Was there some things that you weren't able to do that you wanted to do? And what was the end game to the feud with Sting?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, it's weird, and I used to answer it a certain way, and I think I used to answer it the wrong way. So first, if anybody is a fan of mine or they've seen other interviews, those shoot interviews and all that stuff, that guy is not me anymore. I was a very unhappy person, and I was sick. I didn't know that was the beginnings of my mental health issues, you know, with the PTSD and all that. So I just answered with my ego, not with intelligence. So I'm going to clear a lot of things up right now. So great question. You said that it elevated my status. I believe that I was a sheep or a deer in the headlights when I got to WCW, because I broke into wrestling in Canada in the 80s. And you know, with Abdullah the Butcher, Bruiser Brody, the Samoans, Road Warriors, Ric Flair was there, Martel, Hansen. Those were my teachers. So I came in with a different idea about etiquette as far as the business was concerned. From there, I went to Mexico. So I was in Mexico on top for at least 14 years before I even went to WCW. So a lot of people think I started in WCW. I was so burned out on pro wrestling by the time I got to WCW. I don't think I was in the right mindset, but I went there at the peak, meaning I was into it. I was ready mentally. I was focused. I was studying every day. I was training. I was going to and from Japan. I had a history. So when I got there, it was a culture shock, and I was stunned at how everything that I had been taught or had been involved in meant nothing, because it was a new, I mean, I was a sushi chef. I can cook Japanese food. Then you put me in the McDonald's. And I don't mean that as an insult in levels. I mean, I don't know the kitchen. I don't know the ingredients. I know it's food and people have to eat. I get it, but I don't get this kitchen. So I don't think I was prepared for that. And I didn't have any guidance. In Mexico, there were no storylines. There were no agents. There were no production. It's like, what you see on TV is not what you get live, because I might wrestle against you on television and we've got a program, but then the next day you're my partner. We travel together. And I'm wrestling 4 and 5 times a day, and there's no coordination. So when I got to WCW, and you know, you had to do things a certain way, step by step. You can only blink your eyes so many times. You can only walk this way. In Mexico, it's like, what are we doing tonight? Well, what do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. Let's just go out there and see how it goes.
Freedom.
So Vampiro was white, extremely thin, very young. Mexico, everybody had a certain look. I came in there You had a bunch of guys. If you can compare it to, imagine 500 different country and western bands from 1920, and then all of a sudden you put in the Sex Pistols. What the fuck is happening? So Vampiro came along in wrestling in Mexico when the culture was changing on television. The government had banned North American rock and roll. There were no live shows. And all of a sudden, within a month, live bands came. U2, Metallica, UB40, I'll never forget that. MTV was on the air. All of a sudden, there were rock and roll clubs all over the city. And all of a sudden, you get this guy who comes in with long purple hair, leather jackets, tattoos, and he's accessible. You can touch him. It became a phenomenon. So I never learned how to wrestle. I never had a storyline. I never really was guided. It was just like, put that fucker out there and he's going to, sometimes I had to do 4 shows in one day in the same arena from the amount of people outside, and they waited. They didn't give a fuck. They just wanted to see this guy. So I had that. And then when I got to WCW, the attitude in the dressing room, the drug use, the politics, the ass kissing, like I just saw some girl and my initial reaction was, fuck this bitch. But at the same time, I'm like, why am I doing that? I can't do that. She has every right to be an interviewer. And if that's her perception of who I was, okay. She was interviewing Eric Bischoff, and it was really sarcastic. And there's Eric Bischoff. And I've always put Eric Bischoff over until I saw this interview. He made sense. But the attitude, the nonchalant, it's like, I was a superstar in Mexico when you were looking for a job, motherfucker. So when you cut me down for something that I was part of a cultural revolution, I could give a fuck about pro wrestling. I care about the fans and I care about the history and what it means, but the politics and who's over, and you have an opinion on me? No, man. So I was really, I had a hard time adjusting to WCW life. To finish that, I don't think I was mature enough as a human being, because when you're 19 years old and you're living under a car on Hollywood Boulevard, eating out of garbage cans, and 2 months later, you're the biggest thing that ever happened in Latin America, it really does things to you. And I didn't have a chance to learn it.
Yeah.
So when I got to WCW, it was like my speeding train hit the wall and I had to stop. And they were yelling at me about, why are you wearing face paint? And I said, well, I've been wearing face paint since I was playing in goth bands since I was 12. What the fuck kind of question is that? Well, we have Sting. Okay. Because in Mexico, everybody painted their face.
Yeah,
everybody. Are you going to tell me that you can't do dives and stuff here because one guy does it? That's like going to the NBA and saying, okay, LeBron James dumps. No one else can dunk. Because LeBron James, I don't give a fuck. You can't. Yeah, but I'm 7'8" and I lift my head up and I hit the rim. I can't. Nope. He does it. You can't do it.
Yeah.
So when I got that WC, the fan appreciation was phenomenal. And I love the fans, but everything else, I do not have anything to say except I apologize for who I presented myself as a result of my inability to be mature enough to understand where I was. How's that for a deep answer?
No, that's good. I like that. I definitely appreciate that one. Another good thing that I loved watching, even now, is when you were tag teaming with Muda. How was that?
He was my idol. He was my hero. I just finished saying I never learned to wrestle because the character took off and it was a moneymaker. So you know how that goes, right?
Yep.
But I had to study videotapes, VHS when I could. And I thought to myself, I'm 6'3". I look this way. If I wrestle on the mat, it's boring. I fucking hate that. So who's out there who does something different? And it was Muda. Muda was the first heavyweight, him and Takada, because of their height and the high kicks and the aerial moves. I'm like, I can do that shit. So I thought, why not? I need to be seen on television as much as I can because I don't have any ability. If you take me to the mat or do an interchange of chain wrestling, I'm gonna look really bad. If I just fight, kick and punch and brawl and do the extreme stuff, that's what turns me on. So I'm sure I'm going to turn other people on. And that's why I became infatuated with Muda. There's a match that I have against Muda in WCW where I mirror him, the hand positions, the popping. Like there's this thing that he does when he's coming at you and it's a step and he pops before everything's a popping movement. And even when he takes the arm, he finishes it with a pop. I copied him like a mirror in that match on purpose to show my respect. So I love Muda, man. If it wasn't for Muda, I don't think heavyweight wrestling would be where it's at.
Oh, wow, man. But even then, it's like, and that's the thing. It's like, even though, you know, with the politics of, you know, WCW, it's like, I can remember so many different things you were doing. I mean, like, even when you were with the New Bloods and, you know, you were with, you know, you had your own group, you was with ICP, you know, like, I mean, you definitely left your mark in I mean, even today, you know, fans who were born in 2000, you know, are fans of your work that they weren't even around to see when it actually happened.
Crazy. I don't understand that. Last 2 years, there's been like a revival and interest in what I did. And, I'm very appreciative of it. That means more to me than when I was actually there doing it, because it means my attitude was correct. It left an impact, and that's kind of all that matters. So you said I was doing so many things. I wasn't doing anything. They didn't know what to do with me because they were like, he's a heel, but the fans love him. He moves like a light heavyweight, but we have him as a heavyweight. And I'm like, can't you fucking guys just leave me alone and let me go out there and do what I'm here for?
Yeah.
It was very difficult, very, very difficult. Like that thing with the New Bloods. I'm like, that just goes to show how stupid wrestlers are. You got the fucking TV camera right there by the boss, and everybody's flexing to the audience trying to get the little pop. I stood right by the fucking boss. I'm on TV the whole time, and my picture's everywhere to this day. So if I'm so stupid and I was so shitty as a businessman, how come I'm the only one that any of you motherfuckers ever talk about and try to copy? And all you assholes who are on top right now, copy something that I did 30 years ago, not even 20. And you all talk about me in your books. You all write chapters about me. Yeah, I'm talking about you, fat fucking Chris Jericho. And I thought about that, and I didn't want to get into it, but it's true. Yeah. It's true. I tried to be cool, and I've got no heat or beef. But you ninjas out there need to give respect where you stole your shit from.
Wow. Okay. You know what? Let's go into something lighter here.
Well, brother, you opened the fucking Pandora's box, homie. You asked for it.
Here we go. I got a question for you. So during your time in like Mexico, then to WCW, and
Chris Jericho's not fat, by the way. The camera adds 78,000 pounds.
Okay. What was your
gotta sell that video game, kid? Gotta sell that video game.
Yeah.
All
right, where was your favorite place to work and why? Now I have a feeling like I know just how fondly you know look back on Mexico, but when you felt like you were able to do your best work, where was that? Was it Mexico?
Italy and Puerto Rico. The character was strong in Mexico, but I didn't know what I was doing. Actually, speaking of Chris Jericho, I learned a lot from him. All joking aside, I fuck with him because I'm just an idiot sometimes. But he's an example of a guy, him, Chris Benoit down there, Owen Hart was there, the Von Erichs were there, Chavo Guerrero Sr. was there. So even Chris was younger than me, and he came in later than me. His mindset, all their mindsets, their drive as business, their drive. I was very lucky, so I didn't really earn my popularity. It just came. Those guys worked for things in a different way, and I took bits and pieces. I took stuff from Chris. I took stuff from Chavo Guerrero, from the Von Erichs, and I learned. Like from Chris, I didn't learn in Mexico. I learned in Japan from his thing. So it took me a while to understand those lessons. And when I went to Italy, I felt like I was in my best mindset to tell a story better. And I believe Italy was a very good version of Vampiro. Yeah.
What was the fans like in Italy? Does where you work at in the world change your style?
Yeah.
Based on the fans?
A guy like me, yes.
Okay.
Because a guy like me is a mirror, a sponge. Like whatever the reaction or the energy of because I'm built on rock and roll. I can't wrestle, but I have a great entrance and I have a mystique, and then I have an exit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like the movie Jaws compared to the Avengers.
Okay.
The Avengers has $100 million trillion budget to tell the story. Jaws, you don't need to see the shark to be scared to go into the water. I based my career on that movie. Less is more. A vampire, an evil person who's possessed, who's very satanic-ish, and it's not a gimmick, really did the studying, know the stuff, is scary. Even if you go into an exorcism, it's scary. Because is it for real? Don't know. But if that motherfucker comes out, changes the world.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in Italy or Puerto Rico or Mexico, it's even Japan, because in the United States, wrestling fought tooth and nail to have the fan base it does now. Before, it was looked at as cartoon and people laughed at the matches. Now they laugh with the matches. It's a huge fucking difference. Over there, they believed that I got a letter from the Vatican when I was in Italy to tone it down because people were scared because it was so real, meaning. So I found when you have cultures like that and you're not a character, but you're a lifestyle, people understand that. They can see that. You can tell when if you're in a room full of chihuahuas and a tiger walks in, you know the tiger's there.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the tiger.
It's the authenticity that comes out in your work that people connect with.
Because I also appreciated the culture. So my mannerisms, my speech, my intention was something that they have in their minds culturally for centuries. So it touches on a nerve. And I found that the more I had that connection, that's where I was the most successful.
Oh, okay. Wow. Do you happen to have like a favorite match from that time, or an opponent, or?
I've never had a good match, and I've never had a favorite. I've had a few favorite opponents. I've had phenomenal memories, experiences. There were times like there's one instance after I got the letter from the Vatican and all that, I went away for a few years. When I came back, and when I came out, nobody expected it. The building shook. It was, whoa. And the people we did an illusion that I was put into a coffin, and they crushed the coffin, they burned it, they destroyed it. And I Chris Angeled it. I was up in the rafters. So it was a magic trick. We set it up, and of course, but when the people saw me in the rafters, it was biblical. It was one of those things that could only happen one time. And when I looked down and I saw the people give me their faith, it was like, there's nothing I can do in that ring, and there's nothing I can ever do again that's going to replicate what just happened. Wow. It was their anti-hero who became a hero, was killed, but he resurrected and he came back for them. It was a moment that you can't write. It was a moment that had to happen because those people needed that then in their lives. So when I have those kind of experiences, and then I get, like even me being an idiot, like joking about Chris Jericho and making fun of this and that, I shouldn't fall for that. But I got to remember who's watching this and what is the mentality of the smart Mark, who already hates me anyways. When I try to express the gratitude I have for moments like that, and people don't grasp it, I tend not to answer that. But because you are who you are, I'm very comfortable saying these things. So, yeah. So I didn't have a good match. I had those experiences.
Mm.
I think it's funny. I've heard from a lot of different people that the defining moments in their career very seldom are something that happens in the ring during a match, but something that may happen outside of the ring, or just something, you know, an experience that's unrelated to their actual in-ring work that they kind of look back on the most fondly. And I got goosebumps when you were just saying that story, because I could feel that energy. It was almost like I was there in the crowd, like, and I could visualize it, and I can see how that would totally stand out in your mind as something.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean that one, and there was one more in Germany. Yes, that's exactly it, brother. In Germany, I went years ago, and I hadn't been there in so long. But then I came back as an independent, and I wasn't ready for the crowd. Punk rockers, skinheads, industrial people, because it was like a music-oriented promotion. And in their eyes, I am that guy. So when I brought all my, this is when I just got released from WCW, and I brought all of the Vampiro merchandise that was there. I bought it all the dolls, everything that was left over. And I brought it to Germany because I was touring Europe, and I figured I could sell it, make a very good amount of money. But when I came out into the arena, oh man, it was just like the whole building stopped, and the music, the breathing, everything stopped, and everybody just turned and looked at me, and it was an explosion. And they carried me from the dressing room to the ring. And it was like, this is fucking insane. So I stopped everything, and I ran back to the dressing room, and everybody was like, what's he doing? And I went and got all of the merchandise, and I gave it away for free. Wow. Before the match, I threw it all out into the crowd. Every fucking thing I had, maybe $20,000 worth of stuff. Just gave it away. Because it was like,
thank you.
It was like, fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
I don't ever want you to forget this day, because I never will. Here's a little bit back.
Yeah.
When I finished the match, the whole building got into the ring with me, and we crushed the ring. But it was just, it was like, how do you, so, you know, going back to like the heat, I'm sure there's going to be heat because of this interview, and that's okay. You know, of my sarcasm.
Every good interview has it, so it's okay.
But I really don't care. I didn't, you know, I'm stupid, and my sense of humor gets me in trouble. But, you know, even joking with Chris, and even you know, other guys that don't like me, and when I give little jabs, and then I truly don't mean it, but I just a little bit, but not not as seriously as everybody thinks, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, when you look at the mentality of people, what they take away from interviews like this, that's all they get out of it, instead of understanding that I'm part of an industry that is built around that. But there are the odd moments that things like that happen that affect people's lives.
Absolutely.
It's difficult for me to do interviews now because I really don't have anything to say, but your questions are bringing this out of me, and I absolutely love it. So I hope that somebody sees this and understands that not all wrestlers are just about themselves, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think the good ones are the ones that aren't made from a cookie cutter, you know? They're the ones who are unique and different, and who have a character, and most of the times the most successful characters aren't characters, because they're just an extension of who you really are. And I think the authenticity came out in the work that you did. And I think that's why, like you said, you had that instant connection with the fans, and you didn't have the time to kind of learn how to wrestle, because it kind of took off so fast. And I think the reason that probably happened was due to the authentic portrayal of what you were giving them.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Probably. Yeah.
But another thing, like even like that even goes to show how much you solidified, you know, just wherever you think you stand in wrestling, it solidified that, because even 20 years into the future, you know, you have a character in a wrestling game. Yeah. So, I mean, like, tell me how you feel about that when you were approached. Like, how is it to know that there's still interest, so much interest in you as a character and what you did so many years ago that now you're going to be in the next generation of wrestling video games.
It's humbling, but I think I'd like to look at it as it's not me. It's what this energy represents is very relevant now. You need an authentic person who's going to stand up for those who don't have a voice. You need an authentic person who's going to question, who's not scared to fall down, and who's very open about his own mental health issues and his status in life. I believe what that persona represents is needed in a video game, a comic, or in the real world. So I don't think it's me being relevant for something I did 20 years ago. I think it's the authenticity part of it is, this is the way I've been this way since birth. So there's always been trouble in the world, and there's always been guys who fought for the underdog, and that's my destiny. So I believe that now it's that character's philosophy is more needed than any other time, especially in our industry. So I believe that's why it's important.
Do you think, and I don't know if this is going to get too deep for you, and you can totally pass on the question if you don't want to, but do you think the character of Vampiro helped you wear and express some of your emotions publicly that you weren't comfortable expressing in other ways?
I think me as a person and Vampiro made the right amount of errors in their lifespans to eventually, when it was time for me to grow up, have a great encyclopedia system to choose from.
Yeah.
And I really had a hard time separating Vampiro from who I am and who I am from Vampiro. Mm-hmm. But I think the easiest way to say it is Vampiro, because of what I'm studying now, I've come to look at it this way. Vampiro, just like anybody else's name, is just a combination of letters that we've determined sound a certain way they do. That's all it is. It's a name. Vampiro is a lifestyle, a movement, a commitment, and a level of discipline that I hid behind for a long time because I was too insecure with my own inability to understand life. So as soon as I was able to get that, I don't want to say I want a second wind. I want the opportunity to express my gratitude. And me being in this video game is something that people can experience for the rest of time. Mm-hmm. That's not an urban legend. You can see it. And you can do what you want to do in the moment through that person who is a rebel for you. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Man. Because it's just so cool, man. Because
that's a deep motherfucker, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, no, it's like, because it's like I grew up watching you on TV. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, as a fan, you want to ingest as much wrestling as possible, whether it's, watching the television show, seeing you on pay-per-view, and it's like also, having the ability to, utilize you in a video game. You know what I'm saying? So as for me, a guy who enjoys wrestling and wrestling video games and everything like that, I'm really happy to know that we finally, after all these years, finally get to have you as a character. And it's just like, it's a big deal. Like, even to the community itself, it's like the community sees it as like, like when an independent star finally gets signed or they get a championship, it's like, yes, our guy did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I think the community views you being in the video game, because it's like, okay, one of the guys who didn't get, his roses then is getting his roses now, when he can see it, when we can show him that we appreciate what he did.
Okay. Okay. I look at everything. I agree with everything except the last sentence. I finally get the chance to say to the fans, the community, thank you for supporting me. So I don't look at it as I finally get my due. No, I finally get the opportunity to say thank you. Thank you.
Right. Wow. Well, you know what? That's deep, man. That's great, man. You know what? And another thing, I just want to say, like, thank you for giving us this time to have you on the podcast. We definitely appreciate it. And we were talking about it, like, man, we want to like get some great stars on here, and like you were like one of the first steps, like getting like top guys, because it's like I grew up watching you on TV, like you know what I'm saying? Like this is like surreal to me right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. And it's like, I live up in Connecticut, so it's like I'm seeing a larger than life character, and I'm able to talk to you, in a setting where it's just us. You know what I'm saying? So I want to definitely say I appreciate, like I definitely appreciate the time that you're taking out for doing this. I definitely.
Oh yeah, man. I drink orange soda. I smoke weed. I'm just a dude.
All right.
Yeah, man. I hear that. Oh, so I mean, just like, and another thing, I know Ashton was telling you, like, I was drawing your tattoos, man. Ooh, it was it was a challenge. It was definitely a challenge.
I've showed a few people what you've done, and it's incredible. Your talent is phenomenal. So I'm also hoping this video game lets people see what you did, because you are making me look better than I do in real life. It's I also, it's a very punk rock thing, it's I hope that people, when I do my podcast, it ain't about me, it's about the people who listen. It's like you're giving time to something I'm doing so people can hear it. You did that work so people will be happy to play me. I could have easily had a shirt on, but you put your heart and soul into something, and I really hope people appreciate what you did.
Yeah, no, listen, I appreciate the fact that they trust in my abilities to say, here's reference photos, make it happen, and I've been drawing since I was 5, man. The two things that I loved first in life was wrestling and drawing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like being able to be a part of it is great, man. And just them feeling like they can trust me to draw all your tattoos and get all your logos and everything, man. It's humbling. It really is, and it shows that they trust in my abilities, and they know that I'm going to do a good job. So I'm very thankful for them for that, man. Yeah.
I'd rather them say to you, we see the discipline and your commitment as a fan that you learned how to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm all about reframing stuff now. I'm in such a different place. Let me go back to my good friend Chris Jericho. I could tell you the truth about why there's a little bit of a history there, but it doesn't really mean anything. It was between him and I. Until him and I talk about that in person, it's unfair to talk about it in public. And it's really not that bad, because I don't even know what it is, but I know why it is. So I learned a very valuable life lesson from Chris Jericho. When he wrote about me in his book, and my first reaction was, fuck this guy, this fat, pudgy little fuck. But then I thought to myself, shame on me. Shame on me. I'm no better. I'm actually worse than that, because if I was that kind of person that made him feel that way, it's my fault, not his fault. So what is it about me that I need to change so that I never do that again, and somebody goes out of their way to publicly humiliate me? And I owe him an apology for that. And I apologize every chance I get, because I really don't know what it was. I remember kind of the time, but you learn life lessons from things like that if you're open to it. And the fact that he said those things, and I don't even know what he said, because I never read it. I just been told about it. I needed to change as a person, and I did. And once I started doing that, I got things like this video game. I got a new life. I got a chance to be a happy person. So I'm grateful that I've learned enough to take things that are negative and look at why they're negative. And they're negative because I'm involved and I was a bad person and I needed to change.
That makes sense. Like, and it's like, it's growth. It's all growth. Like, I can't imagine anybody who's been successful in life staying the same way their whole life. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, you evolve, you think differently, and to be completely honest, it's more or less you realizing the mistakes that you made in the past. You become more self-aware. So, I mean, it's growth, and you benefit from that, and it goes to show like good things happen. You know.
I mean, I got my own web store, vampirotv.com. But I got so many things going on. If you got any more questions, that's cool. I mean, the only thing I would ask is you put my Facebook up there. That's Facebook.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely do that.
Vampiro Voodoo, VUDU. You know.
Vampiro Voodoo. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I can definitely do that. It's not a problem. Not a problem at all. But yeah, you know what? So the last question that I would have for you is, and this is a question you got many times.
Here we go.
There you go. That right there.
Wasted.
Okay. So.
Oh man. Oh, that's a good one.
There we go. I lost my mind. I don't know what's going on.
All right, so hey, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you, Ian, not Vampiro, but Ian, for taking the time to talk to us today and to open up about your life and your personal trials and tribulations. I'm someone who has struggled with mental health issues my whole life, depression, anxiety, PTSD, and I think that the saddest thing in life is to not learn from these things and to evolve and to be able to become a more complete person over time. And just from talking to you in this brief time, I can see that you have done that. And I think that out of everything we've talked about today, that's one of the most impressive and important things to highlight, is that you, Ian, the person, has come out of this thing more complete and better than you were maybe going into it. And I truly appreciate your time and your openness and your honesty about everything. And I wish you the best, man.
Thank you for saying that, and I appreciate that. I just look at it like, when I was told that I have these mental health issues and the PTSD and the beginning of Alzheimer's and everything that I've done in my life, I'm like, I'm so much better than all you people who say I'm sick, because I ain't sick. I got superpowers, because not only am I dominating the world with these afflictions, you ain't doing shit except pointing your finger at me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I just think that I wrote something, and I said this on my radio show today, and I'd like to share it with you, and then that'll be my answer. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. My intention with my new because I got a new thing going on in Mexico with I'm part of this group that's helping people with obesity and diabetes. So I want to co-create a more equal and accessible and accountable world for all classes of people with disabilities, so that they are no longer scrutinized and looked down upon. I also want complete disclosure for all information pertinent to mental health, education, and nutrition in order to create a disease-free world. To me, disease is not something that's a physical ailment. Disease is jealousy and or any type of bullying, discrimination, as well as the inability to understand everybody's different, even though under the stars above, we are all brothers and sisters.
I love it, man.
Damn, that's, you know what? We're gonna close on that one. That was beautiful right there. Thank you once again for being on the podcast. Whenever you need me on and me and Sean on, we are there 100%. Hit me up. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. And
thank you, homie. And when you're done drawing me up, then I'll have you on so you can explain the process and how fucked up it was.
Thank you, man. You have a great day, okay? Thank you.
You guys, did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yes, very much so. Thank you.
Be safe.
All right, you too, man.
All right.
And so here you have the early work of Vampiro. Now, this is from 2021, so this was from a while ago. Took me about, I want to say, like a solid week, working multiple hours to get all the tattoos done. Now, I know it's missing the back tattoo, but it's fine. Like I said, this is like early concept work. So definitely, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Let me know what you guys think about it, man. You get to see the close-up renders of Vampiro. So other than that, y'all, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Y'all stay safe. Catch y'all on the next one. Later.